secret place where there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused and I need peace. Take me home. Take me home. Take me Sometimes life weighs me down. I try and I try to press on, but every time I turn around, it seems like I'm up against the wall. My life's upside down. I need to rest away from all life's mess in your secret place. Say there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, and I need peace. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret Take me to your.
Hello, welcome everyone. We are live, and I got some guests today, y'all. I'm super duper excited, and so thank you for tuning in. We're gonna give people a second. We're gonna share to our timelines, and you can tag your friends. You can share the live, and we want y'all to comment away. Okay, so comment. Today, the topic is dating and courting from a man's perspective. All right. Hello, Catherine. Thank you. Yes. Keep on commenting. Let us know that you're here and you're watching. And for all my guest speakers, go ahead and share it to your timelines now so your followers can see as well. And it will be an epic conversation. And so tonight I get the privilege of introducing you to some of these kings. I got quite a few kings on tonight. And
Awesome.
so let me just tell y'all how this came about. So first and foremost, I actually made a post. I made a Facebook post, like what has happened to dating and courting, because people seem to just be jumping the gun, or they just don't understand the difference, or that there is a wooing period. And so I was like, well, let me just see if is it just me, or is this an actual issue? And so it seems that it is a very good topic that a lot of people had comments about. So I said, well, let's get to talking about it. Let me get some men that can talk about it so we can get some different perspectives. Hello, Deborah. And so I'm going to introduce some of our panelists, and then we're just going to dive right in. And so we have a wonderful crew. And so first up that we're going to have speak and give his opinion on the topic. So what his perspective is on dating and courting, and what has happened to it, or does it still exist? Is it necessary? Do we need it? Right? So they're all going to answer the question as they go. But I'm going to introduce everyone first. And so we have Rico, who is the super clothing time t-shirt talented artist. Okay, and you see his hashtag is there at Superb Wear Clothing, and so he's going to be speaking on a little bit as well. And so we also have joining us, we have the style guru of C2E Entertainment, right? He's going to be talking a little bit later. And then we have Mark Christmas, who is a poet and an author, an MBA, a Reiki master, and he has been married, divorced, and remarried. So I wanted men from different perspectives. And Rico, I believe, is single, and Cordero might be a Star Guru is in a little relationship. So I wanted people at different ages, different experiences talk on this topic. And so Mark also is a leadership consultant and integrated life strategist as well. And we also have Mr. Simeon Henderson, who is of the YouTube, the Simeon Henderson Show. And so he's also a father, a husband. He is an author. He's a speaker. He's a motivator. He's an educator, and he's a coach. All right. And then we have a couple more that are going to be joining us later. So I'll just introduce them, I guess, as they come on. And so we're just gonna dive right in. All right. And so Rico, I know
Simbo
you
is also an
have to go a
actor.
little early, so I'm gonna let you go first, Rico. Huh? Oh yeah, Simeon is an actor. How did I forget that? Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you. All right, Rico, tell us what's your thoughts on this dating important topic?
What was that?
What are your thoughts on dating and courting? We want the man's perspective, so give me your thoughts.
Dating and
What's your thoughts?
Dating and courting right now. Oh man. Dating right now in 2020, it's a bit challenging. I find it to be like these days a hobby, trying to find a job. It's so different than what it used to be. It's a disconnect with dating and courting. People get the two mixed up. I found myself in dating that with being a guy, even trying to get to know a woman is a little different than what it used to be. And taking the time to try to get to know someone, I find myself that they're not interested in that, which I find very surprising when I'm genuinely trying to get to know someone. It's pretty much these days, you straight to the point. It's like a meal and deal and a one-time thing, and that's it. Me, myself, personally, I generally now at this age, I like to take the time to really get to know someone. But it's almost like with the, I don't want to be insensitive. It's almost like as if women, it's the roles have switched. And I found trying to getting to know a woman, that's not what she's looking for, what she wants exactly. That's what they say is completely different from what they want. Their actions are completely different. What else?
Well, that's a good start. That's a good start. Thinking about it. Okay, so you feel like the women aren't lining up. Is that what you're saying? Like,
yeah. I found
what they want.
Yeah, it's not lining up. What they want and what they need is two different things. It's not their words are not lining up. I'm sorry, my battery. The word is just not lining up. It's not aligning, as far as what they want and what they need, and then what they're asking for when you give it to them, it's completely the opposite. Then it's like, you know what? That's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. I've found that when you've given a woman what she's looking for as far as attention and the different necessity things, it's like within a conversation, even for a conversation piece, you're talking to someone, you're giving them conversation, you're giving them attention, and then it's as if they become non-existent. And in that aspect, like I found myself talking to women in the past and being courteous, being acknowledging them, being attentive or whatever have you, and it's like I'm getting ghosted.
And you think it's taken for granted? Is it okay?
It's like I'm getting ghosted. It's like, man, if I was the old me and didn't care, and I was disrespectful, I was an asshole, excuse my language, then maybe I would get that attention. I think when I was a player, when I was, about myself and not for the other person, I got more attention. but seeing that I genuinely want to get to know
Okay, we're gonna
somebody.
keep it clean now. We're gonna keep it clean, Rico.
But but seeing as though I found myself seeing as though when I really wanted to get to know someone, then they want the opposite, even though their intentions, well, they're led their intentions to be pure, as I should say, but it's completely the opposite once you get to conversing and talking to someone. I started to feel like the woman.
Okay.
Because
okay.
everything.
Uh-oh.
I started to see what it was like, and I don't know if it's karma or whatever, but I started to see what it was like being in a woman's shoes, trying to get to know a woman, in this day, and then and trying to get to know a woman, I found myself in their shoes, because what I wanted is not what they wanted, ultimately, even though that's what they said. So
all right. All right, we're gonna let somebody else chime in. Rico. We're gonna keep it clean.
All right.
Keep it clean show, okay? All right, Mark, you want to go ahead and share your 2 cents on this? And we got another comment before you share. Catherine says, we ask for too much, we give too much. It seems like there is a problem. If you don't like us enough, you will never be enough for someone who doesn't like you. Ooh, thank you for that comment, Catherine. And I saw Natasha says, is that just a specific age group of women that you're referring to, Rico?
It's been a wide variety of age groups.
No, or yes?
Age didn't even play a
wide range.
Factor. Yeah, age wasn't a factor at all.
Okay. Joy seems to agree with you. Joy agrees with you. All right, Mark, what you got to say on the topic? And then we're gonna come to Simeon, and then we're gonna come to Style Guru.
So thank you, brother, for sharing that perspective. I find that dating is interesting. So for perspective, I've 50 revolutions around the sun, so 50 years old, fabulous 50, as I like to say. And I think about my progression with dating, right? And so, early on, let's call it, first adolescence, even late teens, I was dating or really without an understanding of what I was looking for, what was really important to me in the person that I wanted to connect with. It was highly physically, driven, carnally driven. But in terms of like the person I wanted to, quote unquote, let's call it settle down with, I really hadn't invested enough time in myself to understand what was important. So it was like, the mystery ball and the gum and the candy. It was like, you just kind of get it and you're discovering it as you go. There was a point that came in my life where a couple of things. So one was that I started to value who I would share myself intimately in a way that I didn't before. And that I also just invested in time to say, like, what's really important if I was going to be with somebody in a long-term or in a monogamous relationship, what were the characteristics that I would look for, and doing that exercise really changed the game for me, because what I learned is that as I was meeting people and dating and courting, I was able to clearly identify what they had on that list of things that were important. Now, let's just say you had a list of 10 things. I didn't have the fantasy that a person would have all 10 of those things. I did have a priority of what was most important versus what's a nice to have, what would be, what I had to have, what would be nice to have, and what was, maybe not that important, but it'd be a cool add-on, let's call it. And as I did that exercise, I found it to be really clear as I was meeting people and engaging with them, where they fit in that list, right? And I was able to be honest with them around what I was looking for out of that dating or courting situation. Now, I think it would be misleading to say that you date with the intention of marrying everybody that you date, or you date with the intention of being in a really significant relationship with everyone you date, right? Now, I also recognize that there's opportunities where there's times when you're in a relationship with someone and you've been with them over a period of time, and it gets not easy to get out of that relationship, right? And so you go back to your original question of like, what is dating? I think dating is really a time and an opportunity to already have an idea of what it is that you're looking for, and really kind of see where that person fits in. You know, most people, reveal themselves more over time. A lot of folks, I would tell young ladies, hey, I'm being honest with you. And every other man that they ever met had always told them they were being honest. So they didn't have much faith that was actually the case, right? But over time, they got to see that. And that became, I think, really a standard by how I went about engaging in conversations, when it was looking for dating, whether that was whatever the intent of dating was, I would also let them know that. And so the last thing I would add on that is, I think there's been very few times when I've met someone, and I can name them on, less than one hand, and I was like, that's it right there. First time I met them, this is the person that I really want to be with. And it was more than just the physical attraction that was drawn. And I married both of those people.
Okay. And so do you think that courting still exists, or it's just like it's just an old concept that we don't even know what it means anymore for this generation?
That's a great question. I think that's a great question. I think it still exists for those that allow it to exist, right? Now you got the technology that we didn't have when I was in that process. Online dating, I think, like, I read a stat that 48% of people under 30, 18 to 29, use online dating. 38% of people between the age of 30 and 49 use online dating. And then dating is what they call these apps, right? Some of them are real, like, dating sites. They're looking for a significant other. And I know people who found their match and gotten married. But then the other folks using it for hookup sites, right? And so what I think is lacking in this time is the honesty from the individuals on what they're really looking for, and therefore there comes the disconnect. So courting is a phrase you don't hear too often. You court, the courting, the purpose of courting, the purpose of dating, as I understand it, as I believe it, is to really get to know a person, to get to know their family, to get to know them on all levels, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and vice versa. So you can really identify, is this the place that I want to be? Am I willing to work through the things that aren't on my list, or I don't like so much, or the things that I really like, do they outweigh that? So that's how I look at dating and courting.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. And we had a couple of comments come across the screen with people agreeing, people saying that they hadn't even heard the word courting. The only place they heard it is in church. And so I love to hear some more of your perspective. And I see we had Ezria Ben Ernst joined us, so let me introduce him real quick. And he is also an author. He is an intuitive, an energy healer, a paradigm shifter, a poet, and he provides soul deep intimacy. So we're going to hear from him a little later, but we're going to move on to Mr. Simeon Henderson of the Simeon Henderson Show and get your opinion on this topic. What does it mean, dating and courting? And honestly, how do you impart it? Because some of the older men on here who y'all are married and taken, like, what is your advice to young men of this day and age?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, and big shout out to all the brothers and my brother Mark. What you have to understand is that there are different levels and stages in dating. You have to understand the problem. One of the biggest problems is people aren't honest in what they want and what they're looking for. If you're dating someone and you're just looking for somebody to hang out with, or to have fun with, and no strings attached, you need to let them know up front. And or if you want something serious, you need to let them know, hey, I know we're dating, but this is what I'm looking for. A lot of the times, people, you've heard the saying, send their representative. Like, they said, the person that they show up as is not the person who they really are, or they're not giving you what they really want. So therefore, there's misconception, and there's this shield put up because it's not what's real. It's a lot of people just have to learn how to be honest. And I'll tell you like this: in my younger years, when I would date, I was always straightforward with the women. I would always say, "Hey, I'm not trying to be in a relationship. You want to hang out, we can kick it, blah, just skip it." Like I would always do that because I felt if I was transparent with you and I was upfront with you, you couldn't trip. And if you decided to trip, then I was just gonna go and get out the way and let you find somebody who's gonna give you what you wanted. And I just believed in that. And it's because of that mentality. A lot of the women I dated will still speak to me if they see me to this day, and they're actually some of my supporters and some of my fans because because it was about how you treat people. And I think nowadays it's so different. You have all these different dating sites, you have fan pages, you have all these different apps and different things, these different nuances where people are going on there for one thing in particular, and they're not looking for love. They're looking for something, but it ain't love. And what you have to understand is that when you decide that you want to date somebody for real, you have to let them know what you expect, what you're trying to get out of this, and where you see it going. And when you tell them that, I think you're on the same page and you can move accordingly. But the problem is a lot of times we want to be deceptive, and we want to deceive people and make them think we want something and knowing that we really don't want it. And that's where the problem comes in, because why? Feelings get involved. Then the feelings get involved. And what's the first thing the guy gonna say? Oh man, she tripping. No, she not tripping, sucker. You told her that you wanted to be with her. You made her think all these things, and then you knew that's not what you wanted, but you was trying to get the draws. And then once you did, and you got tired of it, you decided you wanted to go left. But now she's wrapped up in her feelings, and in what you gave her, there's no clarity. There's nothing specific. You weren't clear and you weren't truthful and honest. So now you're sitting in a position where you done got your windshield busted out, you got your tire slashed, all because of emotions and feelings. So my thing to you is be straightforward, be honest, and let them know what you're looking for. And that therefore it cuts out a lot of the bull crap.
Yes. Okay. You had some there, and I saw some comments come across. They said, "Have a dignified conversation." Danita said,
Mhm.
"Clarity." I think Rissa said it was on point, and she said, "Superb. You got her energy." that advice. I'm gonna stand on it as well, and so a little rule you need of to eat and courting and in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hear me? How you guys
Yeah,
doing?
we hear you.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to see, make sure I'm loud and clear. Hey, me personally, and once again, this is my personal opinion. It's a privilege, not a right. It's you can't date everybody. Everything is not for everybody, and everybody can't do everything. So the reason why it's a lost art is because the way, in my opinion, these females presenting themselves. So if you present yourself a certain type of way, then a man is going to act accordingly. See, now day and age, everything is
Mm.
such. People's it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's it's Twitter. So people already have a certain type of image of you before they even meet you, sort. So now when they seeing you twerking all on live and doing all this crazy things on vacation, they not the man's not want to know if you know how to read a book or not. They trying to see what it do. So it's a lost art because how you treat yourself. If you
Mm.
treat yourself as a standard, as a queen, then a man will treat you as such. If you treat yourself as an object, then we're gonna treat you as that. So to me, it's a lost art.
Man, style. You're
So you
so
don't
right
think
on
courting
point.
exists anymore?
Yeah, yes, sir.
But women don't understand, Mark, and you guys, Rico, and you guys all can agree with me on this because we're brothers. Women don't understand the power that they have. What happens is when you allow someone to treat you a certain way and you allow them to talk to you any kind of way,
Yep.
what happens is you allow it, so they're going to do it. I promise you, if you don't let that man disrespect you, talk down to you, yell at you, cuss you out, if you don't put up with that, I guarantee you, we will not do it. I don't do it anyway, but I'm telling you, women, you have way more power than you understand. So what you have to do
Absolutely.
is you have to accept your power and you have to use it in a way where you're showing the respect you have for yourself, the love you have for yourself. Because if you can't have
Yep.
self-love and self-respect, you can't expect someone to respect you. And I promise you, ladies, if you treat yourself right and you love yourself, that man is going to do one or two things. He's gonna get in line and act accordingly, or he's gonna get the heck out the way.
Yep. Know
Yep.
your worth.
I'm about to say, move on out the way, and that's okay
Come
too.
on.
Clear the space for whoever's next. So thank you for that. So we had a comment. One of our watchers wanted us to have all of you all share your ages and your marital status so they can better understand your perspective. So you want to go ahead and share, Simeon, and then everybody just chime in.
Now people just being nosy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this. Everyone knows. Well, if you don't know, I'm an actor as well as a motivational speaker and author, and I look really young. Got all my hair, no gray. I don't tell my age. I'm just letting you know now. Just know this: the last movie I played in, I played 33 years old. Okay, but I am married, and I have 3 children, and yeah, that's me.
Okay, Style Guru.
I'm single, and I'm 29. Straight to the point.
Okay, all right,
Like
Mark.
he like long walks in the park.
Right, I love it. I
You gotta
love it.
have some
Look,
fun, guys.
hey,
Gotta
we
have
got
some fun.
watchers.
Hey,
Shoot your shots,
yeah,
okay?
Gotta have some fun.
Sylvia, I love the perspectives that I know we got other brothers that want to also offer their perspective, haven't shared yet. So I'll hold some of my comments, but at some point I want to come back to the art of conversation. But I'm 50. I'm October 24th, and I'm married. I have a daughter who's 19 years old. She'll be a sophomore in college coming up.
Yeah, Mark, I didn't know you was
Thank you.
50.
Rico, you want to share? And then Simeon, Mark's my cousin. That's my blood right there.
I know y'all both light skinned.
Yeah, I am 38 years young. I'm a father, proud father, and I am currently dating. I'm giving it a try.
All right.
And that's just that.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, all
Man,
right.
I would
And
have
I
never thought you were
saw a
38,
couple of comments
Rico.
came across. So my tech, Savannah says 2 types of people who will meet. They are either a direction or a distraction. And there was another comment, a longer one. If my tech crew can have that come across the screen again, so I can reread that. And Ezria, would you like to share your age, status, and your comments on it right after I read this comment? Okay, she says, Joy says, the women who carry themselves as queens often get passed over, facts, because a lot of brothers are lazy and go for the low-hanging fruit. So many queens get overlooked.
Wait, we feel
Thank
the
you.
same way.
Ezria.
Wait a minute. Wait. We
It works
feel that
both
way
ways.
too, don't we, guys?
Hell.
We feel that way too.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. How many
Absolutely.
times have you seen women? They'll go for the knucklehead, the one's gonna cuss them out, slap them upside the head,
Exactly.
and then look. If we treat you right and tell you how much we love you, rub your feet and all that, you say we soft.
Yep. We boring.
I don't know about that, Simeon. I
Man,
disagree.
please.
We
You got
we
you got
boring.
5
We
guys on
lame.
here. You got 5 guys on here, and we all agree. We lame.
Facts.
We lame.
Yep.
All that stuff. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's the same
When
Y'all
way.
all agree for real?
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're
Yeah.
a good man and you know what you want, what you're looking for, and you know your worth, you're not gonna settle. You know the direction you going in. You're a stand-up guy, and you meet a woman, and it's completely the opposite. Like I said earlier, they say they know what they want or need, but it's the opposite when they meet that guy. Like I said, I've been plenty of times. I've been the nice guy. I've been boring, lame because I'm a good dude. If I was a thug, if I was in the streets, I don't know, maybe that would be more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be heard?
But
Right.
it's the opposite. So it works both ways. It works both ways.
Let me jump in. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
All right. There might be a delay on my computer. It's Ezriel Ben Ernst here. First, let me just say it's an honor to be amongst you brothers and my sister. It's good to see you. And I am 38 years young and timeless. I've also been married 2 times. I'm in a relationship right now, probably going to propose this week. And I enter into relationships after navigating 2 marriages shortly and learning some hard lessons, which I take and I'm grateful for. When I enter into a relationship now, I'm very focused. I have a strong intention of what I'm looking to bring to that person, as well as, what I would look to receive. And I don't veer too far from that. Granted, there's a lot of compassion involved, but what I've looked at along this journey is, what am I bringing to myself? We're speaking about self-love, and a lot of sisters and brothers and human beings do not love themselves in a way that would be beneficial for all of us, because we start treating each other based on that lack of self-love, and I'm guilty of it. So I've spent a lot of time figuring out what I want and who I'd like to be as a man and defining that, and then bringing it without a doubt to the person that I'm with. And that's my principles that I stand on. And so that's what I'd like to encourage our brothers to cultivate and our sisters to not settle for less. But I'm expecting that of you, women, and I'm willing to pour into you and to help cultivate as well. Whether you're my wife, my sister, my cousin, a friend, you're all my sisters, right? And so that's how I roll, and this is what I wanted to say to it.
Man, I love
Thank
that,
you.
Ben.
Thank you for your
I
thoughts
love
on
that,
that.
Ben.
Okay, pal.
I love that, Ben. But one of the things that you said that was so profound was, in everything you said, I saw something that was consistent. Growth, growth, growth. You grew, and that's what it's about. We have to understand that everything happens for a reason and in a season. And I always say, no one is immune to the trials and tribulations of life. But what will you do with those tests? Will you use those tests in order to have a testimony of redemption, of growth, of overcoming, and everything that you said? I hear you, and it all has to do with growing, getting better, and learning. And when you can do that, I think that's when you can change the narrative, and you can be successful in a relationship. And me, I'll be honest, I'm still learning and growing in my relationship now. So it's a never-ending process. And guys, we can tell the women this, when we thought we knew you or we had it down, there's another fork in the road, or there's another turn, and you're like, oh man, I thought I had it. But no, y'all keep us on our toes.
I'll tell you what,
We have to be willing to learn.
and I think I agree with you, and I appreciate you for calling that out, because what's important to me is consistency in terms of how I show up, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not promising anyone that I'll be perfect, but I will show the heck up. I promise I won't curse, and that's so I'm watching myself too, right? And yeah, because I know. See, I caught
Thank you.
myself.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna commit to
I'm trying
try.
my best. I'll commit to it, because I'm about committing, and like in these relationships, again, I'm looking back to what is it that I want to bring, and that's I definitely have to have a growth mindset, and I also look at this frame that I've come to Earth in, that all of us have come to Earth in. We came in the hardest frames out there. Really, it doesn't matter who you choose. I'm not, because I've had a myriad of different partners who've come in different tones, right? I'm looking at character in my partner. And so, brothers and sisters, how are we addressing our character? What are we doing to be constructive in ourselves? And that takes some thinking, and that takes some effort. And yeah, it definitely takes wanting to have a growth mindset. But these are bodies. These bodies that we came in are bodies that have taken a lot, which means if we want to grow, we will grow, and nothing can stop us, because what has stopped us so far?
Wow.
Aside from death. So
Wow.
I'm like, I'm rolling with that like ancestor energy. But again, I'm devoting that energy to the person who shows me proper character. Even if the partner quote unquote mix or whatever, I'll never turn my back on my sisters. So there's so much trauma and so many different things that I feel like are part of this dating game that maybe we don't think about, because we're all still navigating through traumas as well. The trauma of just being here. Is everyone on the show from Chicago right now? Or yeah? That's what's up. I used to live in Evanston, by the way, just right up Howard. So, I mean, yeah, like working on Clark
That's
Street.
a suburb of Chicago, but we'll let you claim it.
That was right on California.
Hey, I'm from the west side, and not the west suburbs.
Right.
You're
not talking about Orland Park. You're talking about Stone, right? Yeah. So I had a lot of love for Chicago, and rolling around was very, very educational for me. Yeah. So, but like, let's work on each other. If I'm dating, if I'm spending time with someone, a woman at that, looking at whether it's a biblical background of like, what does it mean to husband? That husbanding starts before you ask someone, I do. It's starting way earlier. And so that's just, how I'm trying to roll with it in terms of what am I bringing to the relationship, but what am I bringing ultimately again to the relationship myself? I'm dedicated to growing because I want to grow, not even because I'm expecting some woman, to come along, but who if I get chose, whoever decides to choose me, she's in for it in the best of ways, because I'm dedicated to that on her behalf as well.
Yeah.
So Inez, I know you got some things you want to ask.
A question popped across the screen. A question popped across the screen to ask if you all grew up with both parents in the household. So I thought that's actually interesting. Eileen had asked that question.
No, I saw that question.
Anybody want to go? Yes.
Go ahead, Mark.
Let me jump in on that. So much is being said, and I know we all could talk forever on these topics. They're really important. So I was raised primarily by my mother and my grandmother. And my mother was a teenager when she had me, and I was the first grandchild. So all of my uncles and family around me was pretty young. So that was a blessing, because I got the chance to be poor. They had the energy to pour in and teach me how to do different things. So I learned lessons. It was like the village, the community raised me. But when it came to women, I will say one thing about my mother and grandmother, they always were very straight talkers, right? And one of the things that they told me is that you don't need to lie or trick a woman. You need to give her the information and let her make a decision. And I carried that on, as Simeon talked about that earlier, around being honest with them, even if it seems somewhat uncomfortable, right? Now, you talked about growth, and see, here's the thing. You get into relationships, and the people that have been in before, they ask you, if you start dating somebody, and they're like, well, when you going to get married? When you going to get? But nobody tells you about, like, once you're in it, how you deal with the challenges that come, right? And Simeon and the brother Ezra, I hope I said your name right, they used the word, talked about growth and commitment to character. And so for me, what I've learned is that if my intentions are to do it for someone else, that only lasts for so long, right? It only lasts for so long. I really genuinely have to want to do it for myself, knowing that others may benefit from it, but I really genuinely have to want to do it for myself. And if I don't have that commitment, for whatever reason, doesn't make me a good person or a bad person, might just be where I am in my development, then something is going to happen that is going to alter the happiness, the level of joy and satisfaction and pleasing and satiation that happens in a relationship. So I've really got to be in relationship with another, but also at the same time really understand what is my commitment to myself, the type of person that not only I am right now, but the type of person that I'm willing to be. And Simeon, as a coach, can speak to what am I willing to put in, sacrifice, devote, do the things outside my comfort zone. And that's where the work is. And that is not easy. It's not, because it's easy to be comfortable and be like, she'll get over it, or you just got to accept it, whatever it is, this is who I am. And if that's how you genuinely feel, because it's not about fear that's holding you back from what may be on the other side, then I think you just get to be honest with yourself in these situations. And that's what I think a lot of us aren't willing to do. We don't want to really have that level of honesty that has us really look at life on a day-by-day basis. What is providing, what are the challenges, and who am I willing to be in that moment of that challenge?
True.
Okay, thank you. Style Guru, you want to chime in? You've been a little quiet. I don't know you to be.
Yeah,
quiet,
I like to soak up information before I start speaking. So I like to get different perspectives on before I start speaking, because me personally, I grew up just my mom and grandmother. So it was we all visual creatures. So it wasn't. I was taught how to greet a woman from TV shows and movies or whatnot. So mine came kind of like sporadic. I didn't really get the whole gist of dating and courting until I was in a few years ago, to be honest. Other than that, it was just have I see you, that's how I'm gonna approach you, and that's how I'm gonna treat you, how you treat yourself. I treat you how you gonna treat yourself, not treat you how you should be treated. So definitely as a man, and I have a son as well. I'm teaching him, I'm showing him this is how you talk to a woman. This is how you this is what's expected from a man to a woman. No matter if you do X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C, you hold yourself as a standard as a man a certain different type of way. No matter what you do or what you don't do, this is how you supposed to treat a woman. Period. But that wasn't. If it's not taught to you, if you're not seeing it on a regular basis, then it's definitely going to be on deaf ears until you want to learn how to do it. If you don't want to learn how to do it, then it's not going to be. It's going to fall on deaf ears.
You have to be a willing vessel.
Yes, indeed.
You have to be willing, and I think piggybacking off, listen to what Mark and Ezra and Style had said. You have to be willing to you have to be willing to look in the mirror. You have to be willing to look in the mirror, and you have to be willing to learn how to accept your faults, or accept the fact that you need to change some things within yourself. Because so many times what we do, and I've been guilty of this, what we do is we look at the other person, we look at our spouse or our significant other, and we always, trying to point out what they're doing wrong or what they're saying wrong, and not taking the time to take a step back and digress and look at what you're doing. What role are you playing? Just to put a comment, she said that she said something. What was it? Something is growth. Growth is wrapped in sandpaper, or something like that. And the thing, what I took from that, the growth lessons are usually wrapped in sandpaper. And you know what I got from that? I'm like, I'm going to use that in one of my motivational talks. What happens is, in order to grow, but feel me on this. In order to grow, that process is not easy. That process is going to be there's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to get a little uncomfortable. It's going to make you feel a little uneasy, because you're doing the right thing and you're striving to do the right thing. So you're gonna get ruffled, or it's gonna be a little rough around the edges, and you're gonna get scraped up. Sandpaper, you're gonna get scraped up. But when you get through it, when you stood the test and you stay consistently committed and faithful and focused on that thing, it was all worth it, because now that sandpaper is smooth, and that relationship is better, the communication is better, and for myself, it's cool, because when I get these things, it's so profound how God is letting me speak on it, but also letting me see myself in it and see what I need to correct as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, in order to be better. So,
Yeah, I think
thank you.
so one of the things that both of you brothers are hitting on, and all three, is that it shows up with how you do anything is how you do everything. So my commitment to growth as a person is not unique to this relationship that I'm dating or in this marriage. It's if I'm unwilling to look at myself and step outside of my comfort zone at work, at home, at play, best believe I'm unwilling to do it in my relationship. So we're really in this point, we're talking about things because you it's impossible to separate yourself and compartmentalize yourself when you're this whole being to just a relationship. Well, in the relationship, I'm this. No, you're this because that's how you are. And if you want to change that, then you got to put the things in. You know, there's an article called "The 4 Stages of Metamorphosis," and it talks about a butterfly, right? And how it first goes through. And I'm not going to preach at y'all. First goes through the it's a caterpillar. It gets on, it goes, and it turns into goop, right? And the thing is that there's a mantra for every stage, right? And so you don't know what's going on. You say, I got to imagine if we turn to a goop, it's probably very painful, and that's okay, right? And then they go into the next stage and they talk about you give yourself permission to start daydreaming, right? And just you looking to figure it out. You don't know what it is, and you still don't know what's going on, and that's okay. And then you get to what they call dreaming and scheming, where you actually start trying some things out, seeing what's working, seeing what's not working. You have some successes, and I don't know what's going on, and it's okay, right? And then you get to where you feel like you're flying. You've come out of that cocoon, right? Now, what we know is that for us in life, we continue to go through these phases, and that's what you're talking about. That's why you could be in a relationship, get married, it's beautiful, and then some years later, you're like, we can't do this no more because someone or both of you all were unwilling to make the commitment to keep the evolution going because it's not easy. I know. Let me speak for myself. That's one of the lessons that I learned in my first 15 years. We were together for 19 years. And the love that she was offering me at the time, I was unwilling, unable, whichever combination.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
It in a way that it was being offered. And over time, she got tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hear you, Inez.
I like what you're speaking to, Mark, and I honor what you just said. You know, it's like I saw the question that was asked, what did you learn in your marriages? And one thing that I learned is that I'm always going to be expecting change from my partner. If I had decided to, and as you remember when we were in Bali where we met, did you happen to partake in that self-marriage ceremony that was going on?
Yes, I do.
So I did that. I remember like witnessing one of my friends do this, and then
I did not.
Myself, you didn't do it? Yeah. I wasn't gonna do it because back then I was like, marriage, I'll never do it again. I'm still out of pocket. I'm in Bali now. I'm trying to get my Playboy on, blah blah blah. And I was in a relationship at the time, but I was thinking to myself, nah, forget it. Like, we'll figure something out. Then I started to entertain it. And then when I was hit with this self-marriage, I thought, wow, I've been making all these commitments to everyone else. I never made a commitment to myself. What do I want to give to myself? How am I going to husband and grow me up? I made the commitment to grow for everyone else. And so I had to cycle it back from that moment. That actually took me out of the relationship that I was in at the time. But I left because I was being true to myself. And coming into the next relationship, I still honor that. I've set boundaries, but I can have that dialogue and that conversation. I have a willing vessel, which I think is very important. Me as a willing vessel and my partner as a willing vessel, because we have a goal in the relationship where we want to go. And part of that for me is what I took from my other marriages was that, you know what, I'm going to take everything that if this person shows himself to be someone I want to be with, bring all your stuff. Almost cursed right there. Bring all the stuff that you came with, and I'm going to work with it all because I'm here to work with you. There's really nothing. If I'm really making that commitment, as Mark said, to move through it, let's see. Now, if it's incredibly unhealthy, if you're trying to hit me over the head with a bottle because you got mad about something, like, well, you find that out while you're dating. So I don't expect, unless she discloses something to me after the I do, which can happen, then then I guess I'm in trouble. But I'm watching.
Hey,
Yeah.
wait. This here's a teachable moment. Now you said something. I don't want to skip over that.
Yes.
A lot of people. So when you talk about dating, right? When you talk about dating, a lot of people are in toxic relationships, meaning abusive,
Yes.
abusive
Mhm.
mentally,
Hmm.
physically, and verbally. Now this
Emotionally.
is before the marriage. Do you think that? And I'm asking the guys this question. I'm sorry because I want us to expound on this for the guests. What do you think about people that are in a physical abusive relationship or a relationship where they get cursed out and all that kind of stuff and they stay with them? Not only do they stay with them, they move in with them and they eventually marry them. Don't they people have to understand, this is where knowing your worth, you have to understand if that's happening before, it's going to get worse when you get all the way in it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Hey, uh,
So
Yep.
true. So true.
I would like to say that it's like once again, it's what you see is what you do. So the
Mm.
reason why we stay in these toxic relationships is because
Mm-hmm.
we saw this from our parents, our cousins,
Mm-hmm.
friends, or whatever, and it became the norm. So it's like, okay, well, my mom a strong woman because she didn't put up with my dad beating on her for 10, 15 years. So it's okay if he hit me every once in a while. Or man, I didn't see my dad get hit over the head with pots and pans, and that's supposed to be okay.
Yeah.
So
Or
Can
get
I
we
say
get
hot grease
immune to
all
that.
on them.
You know what I think is important
And
that's
that's
also
never
lost,
okay. That's
that's
never
lost in the
Never.
okay.
art of relationship. If we're speaking of the art of dating or the art of wanting, whatnot,
Okay.
is
So
communication.
from the gist of it, you all seem to think that the women hold the key. Like we determine how we're treated. We determine whether a man will actually take the time to pursue us, to date us, to court us, and that it's just the ball is in our court. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
No, I
Not
don't.
totally.
I think it's both.
I
I
don't
think
agree
it's
with that.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
It's
it's
both.
both. It's
Okay.
two.
yeah.
It's twofold. It's not one
Yeah,
way.
it's
It's
two people
twofold.
in a relationship. So,
Yeah.
whatever happens in that relationship is a
Mhm.
result of both of them. I'm a nice guy, but I ain't no
Yeah.
punk. You're not gonna treat me anyway. You're not gonna speak to me
Yeah.
anyway.
Right.
No, I'm not going.
Right.
I
It's
wasn't
twofold.
raised to beat or physically hit on women, but I am
Mhm.
going to demand a level of respect, and I'm usually with women that are the same.
Yeah. As a man, as a
Yeah.
protector, as a being, we were already abused enough in
Okay.
society. So
Anyone else want to chime in on that? So just so I'm clear, what would be your definition of what it looks like? Like, what does it mean when you say you're dating? Does that mean you're dating multiple people? And when you're courting, you're actually courting with the intent to marry? Is that how you hold the definitions of dating versus courting? And as we're coming up on our hour mark here, I want you all to just kind of give your final remarks on on your stance on it. Like, what do you think that there is a difference? Do you think that one or both even still exist or should exist? And what is your advice, especially for the married men? What is your advice to the single guys? Like what's your take? Because I just feel like sometimes a man needs to hear from a man. And so I was like, well, how do we teach them? Like, because they can't just think that a woman's gonna just say yes to a proposal, like just because, and they can't think the woman is supposed to be actively pursuing the man. And so it's like, where do we find the common ground? And so I wanted to hear from the men first to give y'all a chance. And we do have the ladies segment coming up. So
Yeah.
y'all save the date for the
If you
23rd. Okay, the ladies segment is coming up on July 23rd
if
at
you
8
guys don't
p.m.
mind,
Y'all can tune in to hear the ladies.
yeah. If you guys don't mind me saying, because I gotta get off, because I gotta get off at 9. And before I say it, I want to say thank you guys so much. Mark, Style, Ezra, Rico, Inez, thank you for doing this. But I just want to say this, and I'll go back to it, and I always stay on it. One of the biggest problems we have as minorities, African American men, is our ability to communicate. We have to communicate better. We have to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to say I love you. It's okay to be soft when it comes to your mate. It's okay. It's okay to show love. And if you want, so many people want love, but they're not lovable. They want friends, but they're not friendly. It's a law. If you slap somebody, God dog it, you probably gonna get slapped back. So what am I saying? We have to learn how to talk to each other. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself as well as the people. I'm still learning this. I'm still trying to get better at this. But the point is the key. Don't miss this key. Did you hear what I said? I'm still learning. That means I'm still willing to grow, Ezra. I'm still willing to grow and get better and get it right. And so now I'm connected to 4 more brothers. That now we're gonna have you guys, Mark tell you, I'll stay in touch with you guys because I want to talk to my brothers. I want to know what's going on. And not only that, for you younger brothers that Mark and I are older than, we all can be we can be there for each other, to lean on each other because we're going to go through things. But the key is having a good supporting cast and being able to change the narrative. And how do we do that? By education, by learning, and by experience, and by coming together and helping each other. And brothers always know it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say you love them. It's okay to say I need help. So everybody, hey, even Superman had kryptonite, right? So remember, no one's immune to the trials and tribulations of life. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you too, brother.
Thank you so much,
Looking forward
Appreciate
to it.
Simeon.
you.
Appreciate you. Grace
Appreciate
us with
Yeah,
your presence. Y'all check
yeah.
him out at Simeon Henderson. He has the Simeon Henderson Show on YouTube and Facebook Live.
Yeah, got the new
All right, who
motivational
else wants to
album
share
coming
as we're
out
wrapping
this month.
up? Woo! Yes. Style Guru, you want to go?
Oh yeah. Let me straight to the point. It's is is learn how to be happy with you first. Like if you happy with yourself,
Mm.
then like most people come into relationships looking for, well, I want you to make me happy, or I left because I wasn't happy. Like you can't expect somebody to make you happy. Like you got to make yourself happy. Know your worth. Treat yourself a certain type of way. Have your own standard about yourself as a person, as a queen, as a king, and then they will follow.
Hmm.
Treat yourself accordingly. They'll
Yes.
treat you accordingly.
Yep. Cheers, brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Yes, sir.
Rico, you want to share real quick?
Um, I just want to say, know what you want and what you're looking for, and to date with a purpose.
Boom.
That's my word, is dating with a purpose. Don't just be out here dating and not having a purpose. Know what you want. Know what you want going into it. It's okay to be sensitive and not insensitive
Mhm.
to others' needs. It's okay to be vulnerable. But that's what I have. Just date with a purpose and knowing what you want before going into it.
Mhm.
And hold yourself accountable, and have expectations. And most importantly, know your worth.
Boom.
Yes, know your
Yeah.
worth. That is a key one. Thank you, Rico. Okay,
Yeah.
Ezra, you want to share, and then Mark,
By
your
all means.
closing remarks on this dating and courting topic from a man's perspective,
All
and your
right.
advice for other men. And K Dub says men only do what you allow them to do. Okay, and he had thanked us all
Right on.
earlier
Can I be heard?
for you guys for being vulnerable and being on this space, and thanked me for the show. So thank you, K Dub. Thank you. Yes, I'm trying
Thank
to
you,
create a
K-Dub.
platform, a safe space where we can impart some knowledge and wisdom on everyone, really, because I think it's something worth hearing different perspectives on the topic. So go ahead, Ezra.
All right. So thank you, Inez, once again for having me on. Thank you to all the brothers that shared. My final thing that I want to say is just going to
Uh-oh.
essentially echo. Can you hear? Can I be heard? Yeah? All right. Have an intention, which ties right into purpose for yourself in relationship. And actually, why not have a good intention for the person you're going to share space with? Differentiate between dating and courtship within your mind, like communicate. I think it's very important As Brother Simeon said, it's important to work on your communication skills and to communicate what you want to that person. It's an act of violence to come into a relationship with someone else and be presenting them with lies. Think about it. Think about what we're all going through just naturally in life. So know your truth, and then honor what they present you with and make a decision from there. But I think communication is very important, and having a strong intention for what you want to present for your own sake, and then on behalf of the partner with compassion and with love. And vulnerability is a part of that as well. Vulnerability is strength. So that's what I have to share. Thank you once again for having me on. Aloha.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mark,
so
you gonna share?
yeah. So thank you again, Inez. This has been wonderful. I love the topic. A couple of things that comes to mind in terms of what I would offer men and women as it relates to dating. Before you go out, and whether you're dating for fun, whether you're dating with the intention of having that develop to long, if at some point you think you want to be in a long-term relationship, do an inventory of what do you think that's important in that mate, in that other, in that partner, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, so that when you meet that you're able to recognize it versus figuring that out as you go along, right? So first of all, do that. Second is be willing to be honest. There's a tendency in many relationships to say what what they think the partner wants to hear. Well, she wants to hear this, so that's what I'm gonna tell her, even though that's not my truth. I'll just have her not find out that this is my truth. And so the reality is that when you do that whatever is in the dark, it eventually comes to the light. And you're better served individually, you're better served as a couple, just to be honest around where you are at that moment. And along with that, sometimes situations change. You may have entered into a relationship initially saying, hey, I just want X, but if you get to a point where I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, then you really should have a commitment to yourself out of honoring yourself, as the brother said, and to the other person to say, hey, things are different than they were before, and here's where I am now. And you give both parties a chance to be either agree or disagree, because you trust that we're all big people, and you know what? If it doesn't work out, that person's enough. So we can't have fear be the thing that tries to keep us there, but then we have deception because their person's not enough to handle if we break up, or I'm not enough to handle if we break. Well, I've been through this before, man, and it rocked me, so I don't want to get married again. I want a guarantee. There are no guarantees. All right. And so if you're looking for a guarantee, and that becomes the reason in the subconscious that you're unwilling to commit, then you're probably going to be unwilling to commit, and you're looking for guarantees other places in life. So look to be honest, and look to continue, as they said, to be vulnerable and share with that communication of where you are in those moments of time, and look to embrace growth. At least be willing to hear what are some opportunities for growth, and then decide for yourself if you're willing to put that on.
Okay. Listen, way to close us out. And so everyone watching and commenting, I don't know if we got to all the comments, but I will read through some later and make sure to reply. But thank you all for joining. Please be sure to tune in next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The topic next week is going to be get your financial nest in order, credit repair, and a little ways to make some extra income. Okay, so I'm continuing some of my bird stories, and then on the 16th we'll replay this men's show. Okay, so everybody have it fresh in their brains, and then on the 23rd the ladies are gonna come. So they're going to give their perspective on this dating and courting. And some of them are watching. So, I think that's going to be interesting. So, guys, I hope you tune in, too, on the 23rd awesome. So that we can get our perspective on this interesting dating and courting topic in this new age. And so I appreciate you all for being here. And thank you for taking the time out. And I am so glad for everyone that tuned in. And if you watch later, put #replay and be sure to follow me at Inez K. Jones on all social media. The YouTube channel is up and live. And did y'all hear my song playing in the beginning? Did y'all hear it? Hey!
Yeah, it was nice. It was hot. I was wondering if that was you singing.
All right.
Yeah, that's me singing on there. I wrote it and everything.
Wow.
And so it's going to play as we end as well, so y'all can listen a little bit more. But thank you guys for blessing us this evening with your knowledge and with that. I think that self-love, you all talked about that, and just being ready, and that the woman has to kind of hold the bar. All right, ladies, y'all heard that now. We got to hold the bar so that they can step up to the plate.
We'll hold it
Right.
with
And
you.
so thank you
Yeah.
all. And this was Inez K. Jones on Dating and Courting from a man's perspective. So we will see y'all next Thursday at 8
Bye,
p.m.
Inez.
Central
Aloha,
Standard
family.
Time.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
There's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. And delighted. I wanna be, I gotta be, I need to be in your secret place where I know I'll do. I'm so confused. And